Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. If you are tuning in live with us here at 7:25 a.m., we just want to say good morning to you. Or if you're catching the replay, whether that be in the afternoon, the nighttime, or in the evening, we just want to say thank you for tuning in, whatever time of day, and supporting News in Motion. If this is your first time watching us, News in Motion is a news media outlet with relevant commentary and call to action. We could be found on LinkedIn, YouTube, or any audio or podcast platforms. Um, Speaking of our YouTube viewers, I see you, Miss Shirley Nicholson, tuning in. Good morning to you. Good morning, Miss Adrian, and good morning, Miss Numi, Miss Tracy Numi. Is this you? Numi forever. I think that's Miss Tracy. If so, how you doing, Miss Tracy? We have missed you viewing into News in Motion. I hope you are doing well. Today we have What to Know Wednesday. Be sure to invite a friend. Let them know that you're tuning into News in Motion. And let us know how your Wednesday is going on. It is Miss Tracy Newmy. How are you doing? How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. Good morning to you, Miss Kim Evanson. Happy hump day to you. With it being Wednesday, it is also the middle of the work week. So for all of the working people out there, make sure that you are striding because we are almost to Friday. We are almost to Friday. I'm glad that you are doing well. We have missed you too. So if you are ready for What to Know Wednesday, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this brief intro.
News in motion.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I have to come behind Isaiah and say it's so good to see you, Tracy Newmy. And I love the fact that he looked at your label and immediately knew who you were. That's some serious brilliance right there. Thank you, Isaiah, for bringing us in every morning. We appreciate that. I see you, Marion Jackson and Deborah Johnson and Sardinia. Good morning, Dr. Antoinette. I talked about you yesterday, sending me that Amazon piece that was so amazing. I'm like, yay, they doing recommendations, which means the algorithm is getting up there. I see you, Fred Jones. Good morning to you. And I see you, Lori Williams Wallace. Good morning to you. Yes, Tracy, that is family. It is definitely family. I see you, Latrice Jones. Good morning to you. Hey, y'all, I told y'all yesterday that I was going to be hanging out at one of the Columbus City schools, and I had a blast. I had a blast yesterday working with the students. They were absolutely brilliant. Their presentations were phenomenal. And the parents kicked in right about 5 o'clock, and we had a great time. So the students, the administrative staff, the teachers, the parents, we had a blast. We had a blast. Now, when I left there, I was like, "Ooh, Lord, I'm about to go home and go to bed." But we had so much fun. We had so much fun. And then afterwards, y'all get this. This is how things happen. They were having a PTA meeting afterwards at the school. What's up, Donita? And so some of the PTA members were hanging out in the hallway, and they came up to me afterwards. I'm like, "Who are you? And can I have your card? Because we need to call you. We need you to come help us out with some stuff when it comes to the community." That's how it works. And I just love how God moves. So thank you, thank you, thank you for praying for me. So y'all, we got a lot to talk about on What to Know Wednesday. We also have a mini workshop as well. So hang out with us. Get all the goods right here. It is Wednesday, May the 15th, 2024. And I am your host, Gail Dudley. Latrice Jones says, can't wait to hear what they have to say about Gail Dudley. Listen, and Gina, oh my gosh, she was like, "I knew you were good, but I didn't know it was going to turn out like this." So when you have the person who's kind of like coordinating it, and y'all shout out to Latrice Jones. Listen, she's the real deal. She is the real deal. I see you, Jeff Payne. Good morning to you. All right, y'all, let's get started. I want to make sure I put this out here first because I think this is absolutely phenomenal. Y'all, last week, and this is a repost. It's been out there. I've looked it up. I've checked it out. It's all correct. I see you, Regina Shirts. Good morning. Y'all are rolling up in here today. Yeah, a school in Dallas put out a call for stand-ins for dads to attend a breakfast for young boys. Okay. Yeah, many of whom did not have fathers, father figures of their own. So they thought like maybe a couple dozen or so men would show up. Yeah, more than 600 dads showed up. More than that's talking about, that is what I mean by rolling up. That is civic engagement, community involvement. I think it's all that and a bag of chips. So let's celebrate dads because they are out here doing it. Father's Day is coming. I think it's this second Sunday of June. So let's also love on them like we love on moms and everything that's happening there. All right. I was so mad about this. So yesterday, and I cannot take away his credit. I can't. Because what I said about him yesterday is true. But I was so disappointed yesterday after the show. Y'all, I gave all types of credit and kudos to Speaker Mike Johnson. And I still mean it. I still stand by all of that. But what bothers me, what's up, Davia? What bothers me is that he used taxpayer money to roll up at the courthouse in Manhattan. That ain't cool. That ain't cool at all. Now, if you were doing that on your own time, that's one thing. But you were doing that on the taxpayer dime. So I still cannot take away the credit for what he's doing in those chambers. But he truly disappointed me on yesterday. I was like, are you really rolling up in there? So y'all, NBC News was Tracy Newman said, yes, he did. NBC News was the first to report that Donald Trump's allies showed up. They showed up. They rolled up in there like really like a mob, like a mobster group or gang members. Seriously, they rolled up in there. Speaker Mike Johnson also got on the microphone and slammed, talking about this is a travesty of justice. Sit down. Now I just gave you credit. Now you just was talking about how you weren't going to be able, how you were managing him better than Paul Ryan and Kevin McCarthy. No, you really aren't managing him well. So they were out there. You had North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. You had Representative Byron Donalds. Byron, sit down. They don't like you. Sit down. And you have Representative Corey Mills. And then you have Vivek Ramaswamy. It's just all of y'all sit down. But I don't care how many men show up. I haven't seen Melania. I haven't seen Ivanka. I haven't seen any of those. So until his wife and daughters, Tiffany, they didn't show up. So you dudes, go sit down somewhere. Dr. Antoinette said, use your own money to support your boss. Listen, Jeffrey Payne said, yes, sit down. It's like, come on. Like, really? So again, I cannot take away from everything I shared with y'all yesterday about Speaker Mike Johnson, because in the chamber, he is really doing some phenomenal things. He is. I cannot take that away from him. But dude, don't use my money to roll up in there to support that dude. Don't do it. Just don't do it. And for the record, everyone, I'm not too sure about the outcome of this. So I just want to let you all know that so you're not getting your hopes up, because I'm not sure it's going to come out the way we want it to come out. So we had the examination of Michael Cohen yesterday. Oh, wow, it was crazy. So the defense took over, okay? And Todd Blanche really was targeting Michael Cohen's motivations. But y'all, I have to give kudos to Michael Cohen. I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to be a hostile witness. He's going to go off. He's going to fire back. No, he was really cool. Even at one point when Blanche said, well, you said this about me. You said this about your previous boss. What do you have to say about it? Was that you? Did you say those things? And he's just sat there. They said, because I'm not in the room, but I'm in some of the press rooms where they're having conversations. They said he just sat there with a blank face and said, that sounds like me. I said, well, wow, he's being calm about it. So he testified about what he had to do to protect Trump after he became president, including lying to Congress, misleading the Federal Elections Commission, and lying to reporters. He talked about how he lied about the hush money. They said he was very detailed about all of that. He said he even met Donald Trump in the Oval Office. So it was on government grounds to talk about this. And he said, if anything, don't worry, if anything happens to you, I'm the president. I'll take care of you. Y'all, that's what's happening. Davia says they're getting nervous. It's not looking great for Buttercup. So their postures, listen, it's like, what is happening? I don't know. I'm just sitting back saying, what is going to happen here? Because that was Michael Cohen was the prosecution's final witness. So there's no telling what's going to come next. And if there's any cross-examine from the prosecuting side to the defense side. Dr. Antoinette says, plus, although it may be good optics, New Yorkers may not care about any of them. They saw God, right? It's like, who cares? So y'all, this is what's happening. So since I'm on New York, I need to go ahead and talk about New York. And another way, talking about Wall Street. Y'all, the stock market is volatile. Well, y'all know Kim Edmondson got me in this, right? All the way up in this. And so I'm going to talk about this a little bit in the inspirational message as well. So don't go anywhere. But you all, if you have not watched the movie, Netflix needs to start paying me. If you have not watched the movie Dumb Money on Netflix, I would encourage you to watch it. Because what's happening right now happened in 2021 with what they call meme stocks. So you're talking GME, that's GameStop. You're talking AMC. You're talking these what they call a meme stock. So the Roaring Kitty, his name is Keith Gail, I believe. He started this along with the platform Robinhood. It's investment. Kim Edmondson, I will blame her all the way to the bank. I will blame Kim Edmondson. Kim said she watched it last night. Listen, Kim, that movie is phenomenal. So it's happening again right now when we're talking about investment. So y'all, the stock market under these meme stocks were halted 34 times yesterday, which means they were halting you from buying into those stocks or getting out of. So people were putting in tens of thousands of dollars. Now, for the record, if y'all remember, Cassandra Cummings was on here with me a few weeks ago. For the record, those of us who trade options are called the retailers. Then you have the institutions. Those are the banks. Those are the financial industries. Those are the institutions. I've learned a lot. Listen, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to need to uncover and research every corner of it. So I'm considered a retailer. So I don't fool with stuff like that. I'm going for the S&P 500. I don't have time for the other stuff, okay? Because I'm in it to do well. So no, but I'm following along. I said, wow, this is how much control. So what happened in 2021, they started putting a framework around it so that this will never happen again. And y'all know there were millions of dollars that were made from everyday ordinary people in 2021. I'm telling y'all, just watch the movie. It's a true story. It's a true story. Just watch the movie Dumb Money on Netflix. So it's happening again. Well, this time they have so much in place that they kept halting the sales. So every time it was going like 5% over, or the volatility of the stocks and the volume that was going in, they would pull back and halt it. And I was like, wait a minute. Y'all can control it so that everyday people can't make money. And if they were seeing that so much money was being made by the everyday retailers, all of a sudden you couldn't get in and couldn't get out. So people who were trying to get out of it, they were halted. They couldn't do it. I thought, oh, this is going to be a good inspirational message today, because y'all, this is the same thing. Allow me to be radical. By now, I think y'all know I'm a little radical. Allow me to be radical just for a moment. I thought, what if we did the same thing with voting? What if we had the Roaring Kitty, such as him, Keith Gill? What if we had somebody like him that also worked with the voting like that? Can you imagine that? Getting all these people registered to vote. And then when it's time to vote, getting them out there to vote, following up with them, putting out, all he did on Monday was put out a meme of him sitting down in a chair after his silence from 2021, after he made a whole lot of money. And people were following him. He became silent. And then when he came back out on Monday, that stock market went it's like they were waiting for him to say something. So people all over the U.S. are on to this. So y'all, just think, GameStop options to buy a contract was like $50. Okay, I don't even think it was that much. Then because he made a move, y'all, it went up. People again, I don't do that. People were doing like 10 grand. I was like, to buy some GameStop that was only at $5. What are you talking about? This is what happened. And the money level on Wall Street went crazy. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this, you all, because this fed into, so Chairman Powell came out. The PPI report came out. The CPI report comes out today, and that's the Consumer Price Index, comes out today. When Chairman Powell talks, normally anybody that's dealing with investments, everything gets quiet. Like no one's really trading or anything. Well, the retailers didn't care what he had to say yesterday. So as he's talking, they are dumping boatload of money into the stock market, shutting it down until the institution, those are the big people on Wall Street, halted their trading. The power of the people. Y'all cannot miss this when it comes to voting. Dr. Antoinette said Netflix needs to pay you because the special Black Twitter talks about the thing you've talked about on News in Motion, especially the second episode. Listen, I've decided, and Davey, I saw your post, which was great yesterday, responding to Sharon. I decided that I got to find a way to lock my stuff down with intellectual property. I have to find a way. Now, I know it's here, so we can always go back to this and say this happened on such and such a day on News in Motion. But y'all, because this is how I get paid. And so talking about things and sharing things, I have to figure out a way because I'm seeing a lot of stuff out there. And then I go to like my different platforms and I see where people are in there gathering content and then going back out. I said, so they're coming to get the content, but they're not subscribing, they're not liking, but when they use like a hashtag or whatever, it goes back. So y'all, use your hashtags on your platforms because it lets you know the next person that uses it, more likely than not, they use the one from you. So they're linking on to what you put out there. So a lot we have to unfold here, y'all. I'm excited today. Can y'all tell? I'm so excited today. All right, so listen, because all of this, even with investment and money, ties into this next story. I want y'all to pay attention because these are not disconnected. These dots are connected. All right. Last week, it was said by the State Department in reviewing allegations that Israel has violated the U.S. guidelines, also the international humanitarian law. Y'all saw that, right? It's a big deal. During its invasion of Gaza. All right. Now, this week, just yesterday, remember Netanyahu was fighting with Biden and they were like, they were going to go at it a little bit, whatever, because, Biden said we're not going to send any money because we've got humanitarian laws. The State Department found that there was a crossover in reviewing with the U.S. guidelines, really pretty much international crime. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. So this week, yesterday, they approved $1 billion in weapons. I thought y'all weren't going to send any more weapons. And all of a sudden, did you get $1 billion? So where did this come from? Let's talk about it. The Biden administration has informed Congress that it intends to transfer $1 billion in weapons to Israel. Like just last week, y'all said y'all weren't doing it. They said y'all were going to pause the shipment until you find out what's happening with Rafah. Meanwhile, in Rafah, crossing at the Kareem Shalom crossing, which I was around there, y'all, it's really a beautiful place. It remains closed, limiting the ability of aid organizations. Okay, so y'all still closing that. You said you want aid, but all of a sudden you okayed $1 billion. What changed? Yeah, these are the kind of questions we need to be asking. So on Friday, the State Department released a report saying that it was reasonable to assess that Israel had used American arms without the necessary regard for civilian life in Gaza. But they stopped. They quickly kind of like, if y'all watch and you can find it on C-SPAN, YouTube, wherever, because they record all these things. Yeah, Kim, that's the question. What's really going on? So they stopped short of saying that IDF had actually violated the U.S. policies. But you kind of like said that already in your report. But when you made the announcement, you kind of like pulled back a little bit, and you could literally see Secretary Anthony Blinken kind of like pause. Like, it was almost like I'm reading into his body language, and I'm not a body language expert, but he caught the eye of somebody and kind of like cut off what he said. And I'm thinking, let me replay that. Let me see what he's really saying. What's going on here? Then all of a sudden, bam, $1 billion. From Friday to Monday, what happened? So y'all, AP reports that the shipment comes from the Biden administration. Now he faces criticism. Like, you just halted this. You said humanitarian laws were crossed. You said XYZ, and you okayed $1 billion. Why? So people are asking the question. Good questions to be asking. So you have military support on the Gaza side saying, don't send this. But you have now the Republicans stating, well, if you don't send the A's, the very thing they fought against. Now y'all don't miss this. Don't miss this. What happened on Sunday? Who had a rally in New Jersey on Sunday? Who had that? So now all of a sudden the Republican side is saying, oh, so if you don't send this military aid, you're helping Hamas. See how the spin goes? Yeah, these are the things we have to pay attention to. Because before, y'all weren't even going to pass the aid package. You were refusing to do that. But as of Sunday, after the report came out, now you want to talk about, oh, now if you don't send the aid, you're helping Hamas. Now Biden's back is up against the wall. What is he going to do? We don't know. Which leads me to voting. Y'all, we have to vote. We have to vote. But in order to vote, there is an urgency for election poll workers. There's an urgency for election poll workers. I'll say it again. There's an urgency. Election poll workers are drying up. And a lot of it is coming from this spin out here that's saying there's going to be issues, there are going to be problems. Y'all, though, that's just noise. That's just noise. We've had many people, Adrian's on here, Kim Edmondson's on here, others are on here. Put your names on here if you want to let people know. Same thing with those of you on the audio. There's people, they're like, that has never happened. That's never happened. And you best believe it's not going to happen November 5th, 2024. It's not going to happen. That's just to get people not to do certain things. So there's an urgency, and people are calling out right now. We wrapped up several states on Tuesday, Oregon and Kentucky. That's it. The primaries will be over next Tuesday, May 21st. It's over. Then the conventions will begin in July, kicking off with the RNC, or if you prefer GOP. Adrian said, yes, ma'am. So that's happening. So next week, we wrap up primary season. It's over. Then we'll be moving into. So they're wanting to start training people. So here's my mini session today for those of you talking about, I just want to empower election poll workers and anyone's considering if you're considering to become one. Now, here's like an outline of the typical training. And Isaiah had up there before how you can register to become a poll worker. There you go. powerthepolls.org/newsinmotion. If you don't want to affiliate yourself with News in Motion, just do powerthepolls.org. Okay. Kim Edmondson says, yes, it has never happened in the last 4 years that I have been serving as a poll worker. And y'all trust me, if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen in 2020. Okay. It's okay. Just have faith and go out there and do it. Yes, Kim Edmondson, don't fall for the shenanigans. So here's just an outline of what will happen in your training. to help give you what you need. And those of you who are out there working, I think Dr. Antoinette works them as well. Put in anything that I missed, put it in there, because I want to arm you with all the information possible. Okay, so what will happen in a training? And by the way, you get paid for the training, so you might as well. Dr. Annette said her husband is one. Yes, I thought it was you, but yes, thank you, your husband. So y'all, they will discuss the responsibilities of an election poll worker. They're going to give you the responsibilities, such as checking voter registration, issuing ballots, assisting voters, and maintaining order. They'll tell you, like when you go in there, they'll say, okay, go to the person in the middle, and the person over there will take you to a machine. It's very direct. People greet you at the door. It's very direct. Tracy Newman says, I became a poll worker due to News in Motion, and I actually love it. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. They will also emphasize the significance of impartiality and neutrality. Oh gosh, that came out all wrong. And carrying out these duties. So they're going to talk about the whole, how to make everything neutral, how to be impartial with it. They're going to talk about that. They're going to give you the information you need to make sure those things happen. They will highlight the commitment required for the duration of the election day. Now, yes, it's a long day, but just eat your Wheaties, okay? Exercise, do some walks, whatever. You can handle it. You can handle it. It's within that time frame. For those of you who ask me, I have tried to become an election poll worker. I think it's because of what I do. They won't allow me to do it. So, okay, whatever. So I'll just bring y'all some food, like, water, donuts, whatever, because I do deliver things. I do. They will provide an overview of training process for poll workers, including online modules, in-person sessions, and on-the-job training. There are some places who will even do mock training with you. Okay, so you don't have to be anxious about it. They're gonna lay everything out. They will discuss the resources available for poll workers, such as manuals, guides, and contact information for support. So you will be armed with numbers to contact anyway. And believe you me, there are undercover people there. Okay, they are. People who are impartial, they are there. They will encourage participants to familiarize themselves with local election laws. And y'all, you can go to your Secretary of State's website to find the local laws. They will also give them to you in the training. You can also go to ballotpedia.org and just familiarize yourself with them before the training session. They'll give you those things so that you have that information with you. They will address the importance of accommodating voters with disabilities and language barriers. So many people, and I've been speaking to people lately saying the reason they're not registered to vote because they have a disability, because no one communicates. I think we've been communicating it here since we've been on the air in 2020, but many people do not communicate that if you have a visual impairment, there's a room with Braille that you will be able to cast your ballot. Yeah. Whatever disability, you just have to communicate your disabilities so that people will know. They will discuss the types of assistance poll workers may provide, such as offering curbside voting. That's real in places. Providing language assistance, okay, or using accessible voting equipment such as the Braille and things like that. So y'all, these things are out there. Actually, you going through the training will arm you with more information to do the work that you do. And that's the part that I love, okay? They will stress the need for patience, empathy, and respect when interacting with all voters. They'll let you know how to handle people that are out there. Adrian says, the processes I've been through, I guess if I put on my glasses, I can read this. The processes I've been through are completely thorough, and it's mandatory to have bipartisan representation at each location. Tracy Newman is saying communication is key. So thank y'all for both of those. They will acknowledge that challenges may arise, and they know that challenges may arise during the election day, such as long lines, people that are tired. Lisa will be in November, so I don't think you're going to be too hot out there. You may deal with rain. You may deal with some sort of snow, depending upon where you are, equipment malfunctions, or confrontational individuals. But they will help you, and they're not going to leave you alone with those things. They will provide strategies for de-escalating conflicts, seeking assistance from supervisor or law enforcement. Again, y'all, law enforcement, they're there. Okay, you may not see them in their full uniforms, but they're there. And then they will review security protocols for handling ballots, securing the polling place, and reporting any suspicious activity. So, y'all, you're getting what you need during that training session. So here, I am asking you, if you want to engage in your community during the election season, you have to be a registered voter to do this. Go ahead and sign up. Again, Isaiah, if you can post up powertothepolls.org /news in motion. Again, that's powerthepolls.org /news in motion. That will be great. And if somebody can put that in the chat, because I don't see Isaiah at the moment, powerthepolls.org /news in motion. Kim Edmondson says there's a well-documented process for all types of scenarios. So that's good. So y'all have that. Adrian says the biggest issue we faced in the fall was the change in precincts and people going to the wrong location. And I cannot stress enough, y'all, that's going back to what I shared yesterday. Please, 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 please check your voting registration. And a part of checking that voter registration, you will see if you have moved to a different precinct. And let me share this with you all. And I know we're early, but we're less than 6 months away. And believe me, the way this year has already passed by, November will be here before we know it. Listen, the reason that precincts change comes from the fact that they don't have enough election poll workers to cover a precinct, to cover a district, to cover these different locations. So it may change. It may change. So check your voter registration regularly. They should send postcards, send an email, whatever, if there are changes. Now, the sad part about all of this is that it normally happens in marginalized communities. So that's why there is a need. And we have to understand that it becomes voter suppression when we shut down, or not we, when they shut down locations in areas where people don't have transportation to get across town. So then it's too late for them to do a mail-in ballot because they may wait till the last moment to tell you. I shared with you yesterday, Georgia's Senate Bill 189. Y'all, that is real. That is real. They tighten the rules they put in place for in 2020, all because of the shenanigans that happened. Okay, so they're saying 45 days. Well, 45 days is not enough because 45 days, this is Georgia Senate Bill 189. 45 days is not enough because now it's too late. It's too late to do anything. Yeah, again, that bill is going to be in the newsletter, which if you want the newsletter, go to gaildudley.com. And when the pop-up box comes up, put your information. It's a free newsletter, and we give you all kinds of information because that's what we promise to do here. Marian says, I just received a letter stating my name of my voting location has changed. It's still in the same location. The base changed. So even with that, know where you're going. There's nothing more frustrating than getting there and seeing that, well, I can't vote. So where do I go? And there's no one there to give you directions. So y'all check. If you're moving, change your stuff immediately. Change your stuff immediately. So I'm taking you to the inspirational message, coming back on the whole thing with investments, options, and the meme stock. All right, y'all. Wall Street Journal talked about they call it a wild rally in GameStop shares this week. They talked about the stock prices are moving extremely fast. They talked about, in the case of GameStop, during most of the regular trading days, as I shared with you earlier, they kept being halted. If anything would increase or fall within 5% in a 5-minute window, they would halt it. Now, during the last 25 minutes of the trading hour, and trading is Eastern time from 9:30 a.m. Eastern time to 4 p.m. Eastern time. The stock market closes at 4. The bell rings beginning and ending. And then, like, some of the rules changed the last 25 minutes. So they did it at 10% increments before they halted. So I started thinking about my radical self. I started thinking about our walk, our life, the things that we do in living every day. I started thinking about how we move in and out. And I thought, wow, if we had that kind of excitement in life, follow me for a moment. I thought if we had that kind of excitement in life, that something was so wild and it was moving so fast and God was blessing us second after second after second, which I do believe he already does. That imagine the atmosphere, the shifting, using Davia's word again, the pivot, just everything that's going on, the excitement behind that, because we know that we are so powerful that as things keep rapidly going, the devil comes to try to halt us. But even in the halting, because of the volatility of the excitement, he has no control. He has no power. He may get us to think just for a moment that we failed or we can't get in or we can't get out. And then all of a sudden, here comes Jesus saying, oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. I just need you to calm down. I just need to take a breath for a moment. I need you to drink some water for a moment. I need you to get a new perspective for a moment. I needed you to transfer your mind for a moment, because we're going to keep going, because the volatility of all the people who are following God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, with all of us following and all of our excitement, nothing can strip away from anything that we have to do. Y'all, I saw this. I saw when I was, I'm always looking at things in inspiration and sermons and messages. And when I started looking at this yesterday with GameStop, I said, this can happen with a meme stock. With a meme stock that's going to go up. Everything that goes up in the stock market has to come down. And it's called gap fills. Follow me. Yeah, Kim, I've learned everything about this. It's called gap fills. So again, their stock came in at, hi, what's up, Hester? That stock came in at, again, I think it was like $5. But it jumped up at first to $38. So you have what you call a gap fill from the $5 to the $38. People want to ride it or trade it. It's called bull. That's a call. Those are bull markets. So bulls run. So bulls run up. Follow me. We all need to learn this. Seriously, our community needs to learn this. Bulls run. So a call is called the bulls are running. So the bulls run up. But the bearish market, which are puts, that means the bears, they're falling back. So puts are coming down. Well, there's still a gap in the stock market, investments, Wall Street, whatever. At some point, that gap has to fill. It can fill in 30 hours. It could fill in 5 minutes. It could fill in 30 days. It can fill in 6 months. But at some point, that has to fill. So just like life, y'all, this is a beautiful thing. Just like life, you have ups and you have downs. You are running up. Sometimes you slide back down. But regardless, on the bottom is what they call support. Y'all got to follow this. I mean, I'm like, if this isn't the Bible, I don't know what is. So on the bottom, you have support. In the stock market, option trading, you have support. And the thing is that it can only go so low, and it goes to the lowest. Now that you have lower lows, and you have what you call a double bottom, but wherever it hits the support, it bounces back up. So when it bounces back up on the top, which are the highs of the day, you have resistance. So when you hit that high, the resistance, the bears try to pull you back down. But when you hit the support, the bulls bounce you back up. But still you have these gaps that need to be filled. I think I just said something, y'all. In life, you're going to have bull runs and you're going to have bears that slide back. But you still got Jesus as the support. So no matter what, when you come to the bottom, you're bouncing back up. But then you got the enemy up here trying to resist you to bring you back down. So that's where you get the fluctuation. But when there is volatility in the market, when there's volatility of people supporting one another, you break resistance. I don't know if y'all heard me, but you break resistance when you get there, because the volatility of the stock market, I'm really talking about our lives right here. The volatility of the stock market will not allow the resistance to keep you down. You bust through resistance that creates you another high. I think I just said something. Y'all, we need to have a class on this, because the more I think about Kim, thank you so much. What was it, 3 years ago that you taught? Now, Kim taught me one thing and I went somewhere else, because I'm that kind of radical. I want to know all the things. I want to know all the things. And so I've learned this. But with this GameStop, I thought, wow, we got support, we have resistance, we have bulls, we have bears, we have the volatility. Just think, if we were supporting each other like this on a regular basis, y'all, the world would be so volatile that we would keep running like bulls, breaking the resistance. Yes. But y'all, we got to work together with each other. We got to support each other. We have to love each other enough to be willing to stand in the gap. That's the gap fill. We got to fill the gap, y'all. We got to be willing to stand in the gap when it comes down to take us back up. All right, y'all, until tomorrow, this is Gail Dudley. This has been News in Motion. Hopefully you got something out of the headline news and everything that we shared. We have a lot of work to do, but this is not the time to become frustrated, angry, depressed, oppressed, suppressed, none of that. We have to find a way to come together and run the bulls. All right, y'all, until tomorrow, I will see you. Y'all know what I say. Stay well, everyone. And remember, make some bold moves. We're out.
News in Motion.